If you're a young father or mother that's making the money, you're like, I have not got time to talk about what went down here because I've got my boss down my ass. And the person that's taking care of the child is, you don't understand. I did not get my nails done today. All I did was pick up, shit and vomit. And I am done with it. And damn it, if you want food, you better order a pizza. I mean,
shall we begin?
Let's go, baby.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
Look,
You're
you
hot
look cute.
stuff.
And your little chartreuse
Well, I have to put on.
lining.
This is a nice yellow. This is warm. You warm enough?
I'm oddly cold today.
I know this with the AC's up, and far be it from me to complain about how cold it always is. So I just wear a sweater.
Wear a sweater. Way to prepare.
Yeah, because I'm not going to martyr myself.
Not going to martyr yourself. Well, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Way to bring it in to context.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
Are you having a stroke?
No, don't say that.
No, we've been having the conversation about life and partnership and power. Be powerful, written behind me. And what power looks like these days in America, and what power looks like, that's the big picture, and what power looks like in the small picture of sometimes partnerships, aka marriages, or partnerships, as we do. So power these days is stronger, better. I'm over the weaker. Power sometimes in partnerships, marriages, are I make the money, you do the other stuff. And that sounds very 1950s, but it seems like we're having sort of a
Renaissance.
We're having a renaissance. It's like we all want to be white and go to church and go by the rules, and I make the money and you make the dinner. And so I don't think that's an exaggeration right now. And so we were talking about how it's hit close to home. We have friends that sort of are going through some issues with partnerships. I think we can use you and I as an example when we were talking a couple of podcasts back when you were going to do your it's an incredible job she's got with Lucy Williams Travel. And that was immediately a topic for us to talk about. Why? Because we're both in a business that I own.
Right.
And instead of me going, well, I make more money than you, or you need to just do this, or you just make sure it doesn't get in my way.
Right.
Which I tried to kind of pull a little bit, like.
Wait, what's going to happen to me?
We had to make sure nobody's martyring. We're going to use that term today, martyring one another. And I think, you could have just folded and gone, well, sure, I'll just do this. But, first of all, I'd never let you fold because I wouldn't fold for you. And we're equal partners in every other way. So the point being is it's happening.
Sure, and it's always been happening. And so I think it's a deep dive into the relationships in which we put ourselves, in which we find ourselves, in which we try to change, and we can, and sometimes we can't, and our experiences in that category of what makes for each person a healthy or a realistic or a happy or a more equivalent.
And maybe we should define partnership as, and I'm going to use the word partnership as a marriage too. You might be in a partnership like we are, or our marriage, whatever you're in. I think you have to go all the way back to why you're together. And why you're together is, now some people may be contractual, and in that case, you do you. But I think in a really healthy relationship, because I have been in contractual relationship, and I know the price I pay for that contractual relationship. So we're in a partnership where money is not power. Power is not power over. Power is empowering and encouraging one another to be our best selves. So what we're seeing going on, specifically because we work we're in women come mostly
Right.
to this studio. They walk in the doors. We hear the conversations about, well, I couldn't come to class the other day. My husband had a meeting, and my son was homesick. Had a little fever, and they were like, well, of course I have to stay home. He can't miss a meeting. And it made us start thinking about, well, because you make the money, I think it's a two-way street. That man or woman that makes the money can say, you do this, or that man or woman that does not make all the money says, oh, I will do that. And that's the martyrdom, right? Maybe it's not the person that's making all the money. Maybe it's the person that feels like they owe that other person their own time.
It goes absolutely both ways. I mean, no one can make you a martyr without your consent of just going, yeah, I'll do it again. And it's really looking for me at, I think, an example, motherhood as a little pocket of what that means for people. And you are and have been, a mother as far as raising. You have adult children, and mine are on the precipice of one adult technically in college and one in high school. And what is it that I value as a mother? And I've had the great fortune to have had some time in this process, from pregnancy to 0 to now 17 and 19 years old are my children, to explore what is important to me as my role as a mother and what my partner plays in that role. Because I think, to your point, is what I've seen working with a bunch of women at different stages of their lives is a very quick, the mom is in charge of everything that has to do with the kids.
Whether she's making the money or not.
Just
sometimes.
period.
Yeah.
Period. And just exploring that and how we've gotten into that place. I mean, over time, those roles are fairly natural when it comes to masculinity, male, femininity, female, nurturing, caretaking, hunting and gathering, working, and those roles kind of are created, and finding a place to go, this is working, this is not working.
Yes.
This is not working. And all too often, what resonates for me, it has in my own life and what I see in other women, is just I'm the one that's gonna pick everything up.
Right. I think
I'm gonna take the heat.
We're naturally nurturing. We, meaning a feminine energy is nurturing energy. But men also have feminine energy as well, and we have our masculine. And we were flying back recently on a aircraft, and we were
an aircraft,
and we were with a family, young baby, maybe a 2 or 3 year old, and I have never seen, or I have seen recently on some of these flights, the man and woman working in tandem. And I was so impressed with that, really a nurturing father presence. So I think you have to consciously make that choice.
Right.
It might not have been a natural choice for him to be that nurturing, but you have to, as a nurturing woman, ask your partner, if it's a man, to look at life differently once you decide to have children, and not always be at their behest. Like, I've got to go, you've got to drop everything you're doing.
I can't. The one person, I think it's so unfair to just can't be bothered, and whether that's because that's the way they feel, because that's the way they were raised, or that they do feel like, well, I'm here, you're here, to your point, money, power. If you're the breadwinner, I think it's very easy to slip into that. I can't be bothered because I've got
to make the money.
So much pressure. And, why don't we both, those two types of people, write everything you do down in a day?
Right.
You know, get it out in the table, get it out in the open, so there's no presumption about what have you been doing all day? This is what I've been doing all day, and I feel put upon, exhausted, or tired. So could you have possibly done all day? I think it's first coming to the table, and I think it goes way back to...
That's a good kitchen table discussion of the night, because...
It's a pre-marriage discussion.
It is a pre-marriage, but boy, when you're in the fire pit of small children, to come together at night when you're exhausted and come in with a peace pipe in hand. I mean, literally with a peace plan, because you're exhausted and you're tired and you're at your wits' end. If you're a young father or mother that's making the money, you're like, I have not got time to talk about what went down here because I've got my boss down my ass. And the person that's taking care of the child is, you don't understand. I did not get my nails done today. All I did was pick up, shit and vomit, and I am done with it. And damn it, if you want food, you better order a pizza. I mean, those are those days, and and you think, well, we'll just suck it up. But those days, they build and they build and they build. I've been in those shoes
for sure,
and I remember it, and I remember the resentment I felt.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a resentment he felt, but at the end of the day, because in my personal marriage, back in the day, he made the money. It defaulted on me to do the other.
Right.
And by the way, I didn't have the wherewithal in myself to come forward and protest that thought.
Who does? Because let's be real.
Yeah.
You're going day to day. You're in survival mode.
Right.
And I think young children is the best example ever. And if you can't have that conversation before, you're really screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really screwed. There is a great couple here who I'll talk about. So if we're going to be positive about somebody, I'll talk about them. I won't throw anybody under the bus. But we have a great couple, friends and clients, Will and Claire.
We love them. And
they're amazing.
Keep going. I love them.
So he's just... I don't want to give him all the credit. Like, why are we giving all the credit to a guy who's suddenly nice and caring? It's like, shit.
She has a lot to do with that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was a two-person way to get their relationship where they are. They found the right person for each other. They know what they value in each other, and they really respect each other. So Claire, they have had a baby. Claire technically birthed the baby. But it's so easy to see this equality, a tandem behavior where, Claire was cleared to come back for her first class. Her husband, Will, took the baby on a stroll and then came in here. And I said, I love seeing this support. That's the rewiring number one. Let's not be surprised by someone who
Let's
behaves
not congratulate when
in an honorable way, right? So it is more rare to see that. And I just said, good for you, and how supportive for you to... I didn't say but for Claire to be back and for you to be... But
it's a tendency, don't we?
It's a tendency.
We want to say,
you're so sweet to let her.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what? But that's what we're trained. And he just said, this is her group, her people. This is what makes her happy. I'm so happy for her to come from a place of such genuine care, respect, and love that if we're all happy, we're all happy. And they're just a really great example of... embracing maternity and paternity leave. And
we can only hope that they will.
Stay the course.
They are models for their daughter.
That's exactly right.
They will be models if they have a son. We're all models for our children. And so if your children are watching you be a martyr, chances are high that your daughter is going to be a martyr.
Right.
Chances are high that she will be immediately pigeonholed herself into a relationship where she takes care of the things, the home things, and he takes care of the business things. And it's uncanny how we marry our daddies, right? So it behooves all of us to really step outside of that zone and have those conversations that might be totally foreign. And come again with a peace plan. Come to the table with a peace plan. Sometimes it has to be written down. First thing you might want to say to each other, I chose you because I loved you. Nothing has changed there. But what has changed is we have responsibilities that neither one of us ever knew would be this hard for both of us. And it always seems to happen at the same time,
Right.
These, and then, and you see so many people now that I'm older. I remember when my daughter graduated from high school, how many people got divorced? The minute their kids got out of the house, they were like, we are out of here. And at least my ex-husband and I hung in for a few more years, right? But I mean, people were really like, just get me through this with gritted teeth. And that's no life.
Well, so then you
That's
throw children in those responsibilities, and then you throw work in those responsibilities, you throw financial in those responsibilities, and then you may already have differences when it comes to your general values, religion, anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so it is a fever pitch of issues, and you've got to be bold enough and to stand up for yourself. And what I think I do want to say is, I understand for some people, being transactional or having a difference in power dynamics in a relationship might be preferred. It might be preferred. It might be what you're used to.
And that's you, do it.
And that might be what you chose. I will also say I haven't really met ever someone who takes that and turns it into a little bit of martyrdom and isn't generally just bitchy or unhappy.
I agree.
So even though the choice might be very cognizant and true and wanted, I just haven't seen a lot of marriages and motherhood relationships where that turns out that everybody is happy, cheery, lucky.
Right.
It's almost like a vibe of, I like to bitch about that. I like to feel put upon, or it is my role now.
Why do women need all these girl strips?
To say, woe is me.
Yeah. I mean, and I think thinking back, I was like, speaking of girl strips, I could not wait. Like, I'm going to get out with my girls, and we're going to go to the weekend, and we're going to drink, and we're going to party, we're going to have the best time, and then I'll deal with it when I get home. But instead, wouldn't it have been great if I had come with the peace plan, sat at the table, had the girls' weekend still, because girls we need to be with each other, right? We need that camaraderie. But also had the plan of, we got a plan to get away, the two of us, because I really remember you. I remember why I fell in love with you before the dirty diapers and the food all over the kitchen. And I just want to revisit that without our children, as hard as it is for us to both leave our children.
Right.
And it's also so good for your kids.
It's so good for your kids. I mean,
we're giving. It's funny. We're giving advice, and we're a couple. You've got grown kids. I've got a really grown kid with grandchildren. But it really is helpful. 2020 is looking back, and where you see relationships don't have to go so south, or they just don't have to be so frustrating.
I think the thing is, decide how you feel about your marriage and your partnership and really what it is, and are you giving away your power? I mean, I did for a very long time with my own volition, not to anybody else's fault or choice, and then I didn't. And the way I feel as a person, as a human, as a mother, and now with you as a partner is just such a better place. I would just encourage anyone who finds themselves always deferring to the other person's needs, wants, desires, to assuming what you have to do to make everybody happy and calm and all good. That's not energy that you need to be putting out there, because that will bubble over and explode at some point, either your partner or you or your kids. And it's going to happen over and over and over and over again.
And I can tell you, your divorce, because I've gotten one, is not going to come because of that one big blow up. It's never going to come for that, whatever, maybe he's having an affair, maybe she's having, whatever. That's not the reason. It's those small daily, they build. I mean, I remember them. I remember just things that I could remember, the words that were spoken 30 years ago. And I could remember them, and that they hung with me. Had I gotten those words out, or we could have diffused so much, because love is it's alive. It's not, I fell in love and now it's there. It changes. A love between two people is a growing entity. and to really, I use this term a lot. We watched a slow death of a once vital relationship, and the vitality, you just watch it seep out, and that's super sad. And then, you get a divorce and then you marry somebody else and they're just like the other one. I mean,
my God,
have you ever noticed that though?
Hey.
I know, I'm just
No.
kidding. No, but
right.
You and I are
Unless
different.
the patterns change.
Yeah,
right? You have
unless
to take
patterns
some
change,
responsibility
you see that
for that.
happening.
But you said the word diffuse, which I think is a great thing to address and a word to use, because I think a lot of women think they're diffusing the situation by just taking the heat, doing it all. Never mind, I'll do it. I'm going to be quiet on this one, but tit for tat another one, and then it keeps going. That's not diffusion. That is slowly lighting that wick, and when it hits the end, it is going to explode, and it's not going to be good for anybody.
Yeah.
And let's be real, that we are two women who also carry a more masculine energy and a more feminine energy, and I am the one to more.
That's true.
Succumb, to be more passive. You do make the money in this relationship, but you've always considered us in one pot and one thing.
But I've never. And
you've never used it.
Well, it's great. I mean, but I've never. That is not even a conscious thought of mine ever. Like, well, I make money, more money than Lee, so therefore anything.
But why don't you think that is conscious in this relationship? Why is that different?
Because we came in on the equal footing.
No, like not financially,
did we?
No,
we didn't. No, because I'm not built that way. Because I've already learned that hard lesson.
Right.
And because I respect you, but I did respect my ex-husband too. That's a really great question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know how to answer it, except I think the answer is obvious. It's a dynamic that you and I have. And I don't think I would ever, first of all, I'm never going to put myself in the position of being under somebody. Literally.
Right.
Literally. No, none of that. But I'm never in my life going to try also to be overlord or over somebody. I always want to meet people because the reason I want to be with you is you're so fascinating. It's not that I want to own parts of you,
right?
Or make I do like the fact that you cook much better than me, and I do the laundry really well. You got to find those ways.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, I do think it's a different stage of life where we aren't going through all the 20-something, 30-something things, and I do think that I, at a point, was able, because not you allowed it, because you were receptive and respective towards me, demanded a degree of acknowledgement of what I brought to the table. I mean, I remember one time sitting on this floor across saying, listen, I want to be a part executively of this team here. This is what I bring to the table. And the only reason I was able to do that is because you modeled that, and I felt or saw this energy that you would respond to that in a way that didn't shut me down. I don't know. Maybe it's just an innate thing with us. Maybe it's grown over time.
I think if you've been on both sides of the coin, maybe I've been on both sides of the coin. And so I thought if I ever find love again, I will be the person I wanted to be with. And I try to do that.
Yeah.
I tried to be the person I would want to be with.
Right.
And,
Well, I think that's good. Thank you. I love you.
But back to the martyrdom. Martyrdom does nothing for you. It does nothing for your partner, and it absolutely does not have anything good for your children. Your children I'll say this to the day I die. They don't care what you say. They don't even listen to what you say. I don't remember what my mother told me. I know exactly what she did, and I know exactly what she made me feel like. And she made me feel respected and loved, and that is all that matters. And that's the same in a relationship.
Right. That's what I was going to say, too. I mean, I've spent time, way back when, bashing or just being annoyed with or vocalizing issues. When we go with our girlfriends, that's a safe space to kind of go, what's happening over there in your world? Because this is what's happening in my world, and I need to feel seen and heard, and is this normal or is this abnormal? And then there's a level of a level of disrespect to the relationship where you're putting the other person down or constantly complaining or just keeping everything to yourself. And that's not fair. If your partner doesn't know, that's not fair. And it's easy to blame them for everything. So while we have a good rapport or wittiness or sense of humor, I'll be like, you're fucking driving me crazy or whatever. Like we know where each other stands and we know how much we love each other. And I'm not.
And at the bottom of the line, you got to know that. And that's why I say the advice on, if I could give one piece of advice, you forget sometimes how much you care about one another, especially when you're young and married, or you're young and partnered, or you're young and you have children. You just forget because you're so encumbered with your day-to-day things. And so to make that appointment, like you make a hair appointment, I don't know what I'm talking about, or you make that appointment with your mate, and you say, we need to, every day or once a week, and I've got a friend that's a client in here, and once a week, she told me the other day, she goes, yeah, we have a marriage therapist. And I'm like, okay, was things going okay? She goes, oh, of course they're going okay.
We go to therapy.
We've been doing therapy since day one, every, say, Monday at noon or something. Whatever their day is, they find that's their way to do it.
Right.
Yours might be some other way to do it. But as long as you're talking,
Right.
And I always think a good therapist, a good referee, that's always great, if you can afford that. But if you can't, just don't worry about it. Just come to each other and
right.
Number one, I love you no matter what. And then start from there. When the tensions get high, you step it all back. Everybody steps back. And we go back to just remember how we felt.
And I think that's a nice thing to mention, that love and like. It's really easy to say, I still love you. Well, I mean, like, sure, versus I still really like you. Like if I have a best friend or a great friend who I really like, but I'm not reserving like for my partner or my spouse, then that's really sad as well. So I think a lot of it is knowing that love is there, and let's work on how can we better like each other. Would you treat your best friend like you're treating your husband? Well, not always, because they get the brunt of everything and you're going through different things, but I think that is a nice point. And so your takeaway is really on that, like the peace pipe point. The therapy, the talk, the get it out there, the come in peace, the come in love. And I think part of my takeaway message would be, value yourself. Because if you don't value yourself, then you're not going to let someone else value. You're not going to show them that your value matters. So if you want something to change, I think you first have to value who you are, what you bring to the table, and stand up for yourself.
Until you're your first priority, then you don't have a leg to stand on. You have to be your first priority. And that doesn't mean that you don't care about those people. It means you care about them deeply. But you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of them. Correct?
Correct.
You recognize that, didn't you? Yeah. But also, before we end, I wanted to say this. You tell me you love me all the time. I love that. But I really like it when you say, I really like you.
See?
I really like to be liked by the person
Don't
that
we
loves
all?
me. Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And sometimes you say, I really don't like you right now. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, right. Got it. But that's almost rare. It's super rare.
It is.
Maybe it happened once, actually.
I don't even remember it. But it's just going, this isn't working.
Yeah.
This is driving me crazy. You deserve to hear that, because I do like and love you so much.
Yeah.
That right now.
Yeah.
And then, we've always talked it till the end when we go, oh, and what's really the matter?
Yeah.
What's really the matter?
Because we're women, but we're gonna, not everybody's women listening to this. Of course, you might be. I don't know, but you're gonna do each other a favor, man, woman, man, whatever relationship you're in, and you're just gonna, you're gonna put yourself first, and you're gonna remember that your kids are watching really closely, and if you want your kids to be just like you are,
good for you,
and you are a martyr, think about how unhappy she's going to be when she gets to be 35. Just thought.
Boom. But I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope that you find a little spark in here that speaks to you and makes you feel like you're wanting to to work hard, because it
Yeah.
is hard work,
Yeah.
to be in a relationship that's rewarding for everybody, because that just makes the world go round a little better place.
Yes.
Better place. So anyway.
All right. Value yourself and let's keep going.
I like you, Liz.
I like you too. You're great.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.